Hi, Alex. Can you please make it clear to colleagues of Pat the Builder that Shooters Hill in Cowes was not renamed in his honour and that he doesn't live anywhere near it? Ever since he moved to the island with his collection of London blunderbusses, our streets have been plagued by characters of dubious nature cruising up and down, it says here, in second-hand Ford Granadas, looking for Pat the Builder and his shooters. As far as we know it, they're still firmly locked away in the boot of his XJ6 Jag, somewhere down Shanklin Way. Is there anything you want to say about your shooter?
Shooter I've got is kept under lock and key. Not at my house, at someone else's house who's all licensed and got all the facilities that they should have. I only shoot clay pigeons. I don't do it very often now. I intend to do it a lot more in the future. And the last time I had an XJ6 was about 25 years ago.
Right, so you're not cruising around Shanklin late at night with a sawn off on the back seat?
No, it's illegal.
Why? Yeah, I know, but why do people think that about you? Is it because you're a little man in a big car?
I'm not a little man in a big car. I ain't got a Jag.
Right, okay, but that is the image, isn't it, of Pat the Builder? If you've got a problem, ring
it's hard
Pat.
for me to see my image, isn't it? Because it's me.
Yeah, but you hear people,
I know what my image is.
people talk about you carrying a shooter.
There are people that don't know me, don't
Yeah,
it?
but that came, you were out in the woods one day with your shooter. Do you remember that phone-in?
Yeah,
You were out in the woods with your shooter.
yeah.
There's some blokes out there. You gave them both barrels. You don't remember that?
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
I didn't. You're making up as you go along.
Pat,
Tell when you're
I'm
lying,
a pro-
Alex. Your lips move.
I'm a professional radio broadcaster, and I don't lie. Right, we're going to take a break. Are you all right there, Mick?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Right, okay. If you don't think it's fair we have Mick on the air, phone up and give us your opinion on that. If you think it's okay for us to have Mick on the air, tell us that. We are not trying to stitch him up. We will not take the Mickey out of him, but I just don't think if he was any other guest, he would be invited into the studio. Have you got a problem with him being here, Pat?
No, not really.
Okay. But if you have, say.
No.
I'll go if you want.
Nice enough chap.
Yeah. He's not getting in the
He'd be
way.
a nicer chap if he didn't have so much beer inside him.
All right, okay. Right, hang on, Mick, we're off the air. Let's take a break. Let's go to Nick in Christchurch. Nick, there was Morecambe and Wise, there was Abbott and Costello, there was Little and Large, there was Walkden and Randini, and now there's Pat the Builder and Mick the Jagger.
I'd like to say good on Mick. I mean, at least he does do his does do a job. Like early morning cleaning isn't sort of a soft work, is it?
No, he does. He gets up very early and he works hard.
That's it. And as for Pat the Builder, I mean, he's just voicing what everybody thinks, but is too afraid of PC to sort of say themselves, isn't he?
I often think that about Pat. I think Pat has come down from... He's seen his London change beyond all recognition, and he, like many people in the Midlands, many people in London, has moved to the Isle of Wight. And I think that you're right. Pat does sometimes speak the opinion of many people. It's easy to call Pat a racist and not say anything yourself.
He's a bit like an Afghan, isn't he, really?
Well, I think,
little Afghan,
I think in this country more people should be open-minded and not be shut up by the PC brigade all the time, because you're being muted all the time. You're being told what you can do and what you can't do, what you can say. And this country's always prided itself on freedom of speech, but it's gone right out the window now, hasn't it?
Well, that's right. I mean, perhaps you should be in politics, people like yourself, and not the politicians we already have.
I've often thought about it. Lots of people in Shanklin tell me I should run for local council. And
Pat's too down market
it's
for
time.
local council. He's not posh enough, are you, Pat?
Well,
I think the geezer attitude wouldn't do you any favours.
does that change what's inside?
Well, quite. Hi, who's that?
Alex, it's Colin.
Hello, Colin. You're on the air. Is it Mick the Jagger or Pat the Builder?
It's not Mick, no. It's Pat. Hello, Pat.
All right.
It's a shame we haven't had a bit more time of just Pat, because I was quite looking forward to this. But yeah, what you saying about the Queen and that protest that guy? Do you remember a little while ago when Brian Ferry's son he threw something at Tony Blair or something?
That's right, yeah.
You see the way they were wrestled to the ground. They
Absolutely.
were on that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I absolutely agree with you. You know, to say to this bloke in front of the Queen, you know, he's protesting. He could have just gone up there and murdered us.
What did he actually say to the Queen? And is there news footage?
I didn't hear any.
Is there video footage of it, Pat? I haven't seen the story. I know nothing about this story.
I haven't seen the video footage. I've read it in the paper, but evidently it was on the TV last night on News at 10.
Right.
I didn't see it either.
And was he polite and courteous to the Queen? Did he step?
No. He's abusive and violent. If he wasn't restrained, he could have, like this guy's saying here, he could have done something nasty.
I think what it says in the paper is 10 yards. Yeah, it didn't look like 10 yards. It looked much closer than that.
Right, Simon's trying to get a photograph from the papers for us and try and find it, because I've been so busy with the kids off and everything, I haven't even seen the news bulletin, the TV on, haven't read a paper.
But this, I mean, just the reason I brought that up, put the two together, was not only were they treated very differently, but also, if you remember what, was it Oliver or Oscar Ferry, whatever his name?
Yeah. Otis.
Pardon?
Otis.
That's right, yeah.
Otis, yeah. What he was protesting about was the animal, not the animal rights, the hunt, wasn't it? He was,
yeah, I think so, yeah.
Didn't he get banged up for it?
He did get banged up for it. They've got cells below Parliament, haven't they?
I bet this guy don't get banged up.
So security scare as protester disrupts slave trade service 10 foot from the Queen, and here he is. I mean, he does look quite peaceful. He's dressed very nicely.
He's the only one standing, though, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah, but that was his big moment to make national and international news.
How do you say it's peaceful? It's a still picture, and he's got his hands up in the air. You don't know what
Yeah,
he's
but
saying.
he doesn't. He hasn't got a look of aggression on his face, has he?
Well, maybe somebody did see the movie of it. I mean,
The Queen's not even looking at him.
But
I think you're all blowing it all out of proportion.
well, not really, no, not Alex, because he could have been anyone. He could have done anything, right?
What about the bloke who sat on the Queen's bed 25 years ago on the edge of the Queen's bed? He was led away peacefully. They didn't bundle him out of the palace, did they? And he was.
There wasn't.
He wasn't protesting, was he?
Well, he was sat on the end of her bed in the middle of the night. Now that is a nutter.
Yeah, absolutely. They took him away like a nutter as well, didn't they?
Jeff, the binge drinker.
Hi guys, how you doing? All right.
Hi. Is it Mick the Jagger or Pat the Builder?
I'll jump with Pat, if it's all right.
Okay.
All right, mate.
Pat, hi mate, you doing all right?
All right, guys.
Yeah, good mate, good. But I'm 40.
They've got their own language, these builders.
Pat, I'm assuming you're a little bit older. I'm 40.
Yeah, I'm a bit older, 49,
He's
mate.
50.
Okay, right. But when you was a nipper, did you get a good eye knock your mum and dad if you misbehaved?
Not all the time, but if it were, yeah, I got a clump.
2 on Christmas Day, special treat.
I did get a clump,
Yeah, exactly the same. I got a clump off my mum and dad as well. I misbehaved.
and you knew you didn't want it again.
No, exactly. And I'll be honest with you, I still do my kids.
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Mine are a bit too old now. They hit me back. So, but yeah, they've had a clump in the past.
They
Yeah.
hit you back.
No, that's a joke, Alex.
Oh, right, okay. I thought it was loads of mileage.
That was being light-hearted.
Because you're... how old's your youngest?
14.
And he's 2 foot taller than you. So you still beat your children, do you, Jeff?
I don't beat them if they misbehave or if, to be honest with you, it comes into disrespecting people. If they respect people, do as they're told and do whatever they got to do, they're fine.
So what do you do? How do you punish them then?
Give them a slap across the back of the legs,
Right. How old are they?
11 and one's coming 13. I don't so much the 13-year-old there because she's learning her lessons.
She.
Oh, yeah, they're both she's. They're both
Right.
girls. But they,
But you are physically slapping your children then?
across the back of the legs, too bloody right. Sorry, yeah, too right I am, yeah.
Right.
Well, not being funny, Alex. You know, it wasn't illegal very long ago, was it?
No.
And it was only brought in by the do-gooders, basically, who are the same people responsible for this country going down a pan anyway.
Thing is, when you're disciplined, if you just send them to your rooms or you grain them and that, they're just laughing in your face.
I think there are children that actually you don't have to slap, and people who've got kids that you don't have to slap are very lucky. And then there are children, I believe. I was trying to wind you up a bit there, Jeff. There are children there who, and I can remember with my daughter years ago when she was only about 3, she kept going near the fire. We had a fire guard, but the fire guard got hot, and I told her a couple of times to keep away from the fire. She went back to the fire, and I held her hand out, and I tapped her hand just enough to give her a little bit of a sting on the back of the hand. She never went by the fire again. I don't agree in hitting your kids, but that was the only time I ever had to do it, ever. And I think that actually taught her a lesson.
Yeah, well, all children are different, and some are taught a lesson like that. And others it don't affect.
My 13-year-old, the eldest, basically she's a good girl. She's learned her lesson. But the 11-year-old, where she's with her mates and that, they all think it's made her answer back, to take the mickey out of old people. Do you know what I mean? It's just being what kids do. They've got to learn discipline. And I think they should bring corporal punishment back in schools anyway. Never did me any harm.